Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 18th of March, 2025. It's 11 a.m. We are back. It is FOMC minus one day today. It's Tuesday. FOMC meeting is going to come in tomorrow. The likelihood is that we are not going to see any rate cuts. But what's that going to do to the market? I suppose it all depends on what comes out of Chairman Powell's mouth. Is he going to be dovish? Is he going to be hawkish? Everything is now lining up for rate cuts before March. And, of course, QT. Is it over? I think so. So QE is likely to start. What does that mean for crypto? It means number goes up. Now, we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, obviously. The ETH price has been calculated down by Standard Chartered. We're going to look at XRP. We're going to look at DeFi being dead. And we're going to look at the gold article that I didn't manage to cover yesterday. So there's a lot to get through. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, wherever you are. If you're watching on Binance, make sure to come over and follow us on YouTube. We make videos as well. Good morning, Velvet, Hidden, Tariq, Kishan, Mags. I hope you are all well in chat. I suppose we should really get on with the show. Now, get shorty. There is a gentleman out there, or lady, trying to short the market. And as of this morning, they closed their position. What does that mean? It means that they've made a couple of $1 million profit from the market in the last 24 hours, and fantastic news for them. Bottom left-hand corner, it's old news now. We broke 200,000. We're nearly up to 204,000. I suppose we should set ourselves a new target for the end of the year. So why don't we go for 250,000? Why don't we try and get 250,000 by the end of the year? I don't think that's outside of the realm of possibility. In a bull run, of course, retail will be back, and maybe we'll get there. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Let's have a look at the prices then before we get into the action. Volume still very low at 73 billion. That's really low. I don't know if many of you remember, but that was high volume during the bear market. It's really low volume during the bull market. We were seeing days with 120, 140 billion dollars a day in volume. We are not getting that. Bitcoin dominance, look at that, 61% almost, but look at ETH dominance. That was 20%. Probably a year ago. It's less than 10% now. It's really, really fallen off a cliff. And we're going to cover that a little bit later on. Bitcoin coming in just under 83,000. Ethereum holding on to 1,900. XRP still at that magical number, 10% below $2.50. BNB's had a rally. Some really big news coming out of Binance today that isn't in the show. They are going to allow investors to buy DEX-based coins through the centralized exchange without the need to take money off the exchange to go and buy them. Now, what does that mean? Well, if it's what I think it means, it's massively bullish for Binance, but I guarantee by the end of this year, every centralized exchange will be doing it. What's the point of being listed on a centralized exchange? There are many benefits, liquidity being one, reputation being another. But if a new coin or a coin that isn't listed, let's take, for example, Syrup, obviously was sponsored by Maple Finance. If Syrup isn't listed on Binance, but Binance allows you to buy it through a DEX API, for example, then you can hold Syrup through your Binance account. So that's the big news. CZ tweeted it or retweeted it this morning. So that's the big bullish news for me. Again, Mu, another coin that we are sponsored by, they are not listed on Binance, but you'll be able to hold Mu if you buy through it. Now, we don't know every detail because the post was in I think it was in Cantonese maybe, couldn't read it. The translation kind of gave the idea that this is something they're going to offer, and CZ reposted it, and a lot of people are talking about it. But believe you me, everyone will be doing this by the end of the year. This is a first mover advantage for the biggest exchange in the world. Solana coming in at 125. It's hanging on again. Massively bearish news about Solana today. Again, not covered because we made the stream yesterday, but Solana put out an anti-woke advert for their upcoming conference, it's in really bad taste. I think certain chains need to stay out of politics. That's all I'll say. Now, the other problem is, if in 4 years' time, Donald Trump doesn't win the next election and the Democrats win the next election, then you're likely to see some kind of revenge mission from the American government, the American administration. Andrei Kronje spoke about this yesterday or the day before. He said, we've got 4 years to get blockchain technology into every possible institution in America, because at that point it becomes too difficult to take it out. And I do agree with that sentiment. If if crypto stands on its laurels now, then we are not likely to see it survive another Democrat government, because they will suppress it yet again. Cardano coming in at 70 cents. Doge hopefully falling away to zero, but it won't, unfortunately. Tron's moving up on the news from Justin Sun. He came out and he said, in true Trump fashion, I'm going to make some news and it's going to be huge and it's going to be great and it's going to be wonderful, and we have no idea what he's talking about. Maybe it's a new DeFi platform on Tron. That would make sense to me, but who knows what that could be. Chainlink coming in at 11th at $14. Absolute bargain. I'm not saying Chainlink is undervalued because it's at 9.25 billion, but it's one of my favorite coins. Ton is up as well. Of course, the CEO was released in France yesterday. All of this news that we haven't covered in the show. There you go. Right then, I suppose we should get on. Oh no, let's look at the gainers and losers. Pancake Swap, okay. Tron, Binary X is up again. Mantra is up. Losers, Pi, again, waste of time. Don't understand Pi at all. Kronos is down 8.5% on the news that they have printed 70 billion tokens. The supply of Kronos, or Crow, sorry, was 30 billion. They have printed 70 billion today. And no matter how you try and shape that, it's never going to be good for the price. Never going to be good for the price. Could we see a 3 or 4 cent Crow? We certainly can if the market keeps going in this direction. Will it go up in the future during the bull run? Absolutely. But instead of going to $1, we're more likely to see maybe 30 or 40 cents. So I don't care what anybody tells me about the Kronos unburn being a good thing for their ecosystem. It really isn't. And of course, they claim to be decentralized, but 2 of their validators held enough votes to push it through. So it's a centralized chain. There's loads of more bearish news about Kronos to come out, but I don't want to be too bearish on this day. Bearer Chain is down. Shiba Litecoin is down under $100, which is probably a good price considering that we're going to get the ETF and also we are going to get a market recovery at some point. Remember, nothing goes up and nothing goes down forever. The only things that go down forever are those companies that are in terminal decline. Crypto is not in terminal decline. It's in an expansion period of its life. Eventually, it may come to a point where it is fully matured, and then we may see a lot of projects die away, but I don't think we're going to see a contraction of 95% in the likes of Bitcoin, for example. Financial advisor, no more than 10% of your net worth should be in crypto. Me, 100% in crypto. It made me laugh. Listen, at the end of the day, if you are 100% in Bitcoin, fine. If you're 100% in crypto, also fine. It's none of my business. All I would say is that if you have a net worth which contains a house, which contains a pension fund, which contains some money in the bank, and then you have some money in crypto, I think that's probably an ideal balance. We're going to talk about gold later on as well. The thing is, there are people that don't have a house, don't have any savings, don't have any stocks and shares, and are 100% in Bitcoin and crypto. If you are 19 or 20 years of age and 100% of your net worth is in crypto, especially Bitcoin, then I do not have a problem with that. But traditional financial advisors will tell you you shouldn't really have that much in crypto because it's too high risk. It's not going to be high risk over 20 years if you've got Bitcoin, put it that way. Mew, be kind. It costs 0 to be kind. It also costs 0 to be a hater. Remember, what you read on the internet is just the brave words of a troll. That's all it is. The brave words of a troll. Hurty words. Hurty words. Let's move on. Oh, good morning, KB, and good morning to Solo Sky. I hope you are well. One other announcement to make is that the Kronos night, I can do this, by the way, now because we're streaming on Binance. Before I couldn't, but we've made an executive decision to change the way we stream. And the reason I'm bringing this up is the Kronos night, which was last Wednesday, everything went wrong. The storm, everything. That's the second time now it's gone horribly wrong. We've rescheduled this for the 26th of March, which is, I believe, a week tomorrow. Okay? We were going to do it tomorrow, but we had another storm yesterday. So this is going to be next Wednesday at 7 p.m. We are going to be giving away the Papa Crow, the Monkey Muscle NFTs, and the Reaper Squad tokens. They are the 3 prizes. Again, a lot of those prizes are donated to us by the Kronos chain. One of the Monkey Muscles I'm giving away comes out of my pocket. And of course, the stream is sponsored by WolfSwap. So that's going to be next Wednesday. So keep an eye on that. You might win. I'm starting to think that my most contrarian take is that ETH and Sol both win and basically every other base layer gets mostly washed out. I don't necessarily agree with the statement that Tom has come out with here. What I would say to these types of comments is, and I've seen it a lot in the last 48 hours with a lot of people on Kronos, the Kronos chain, cult-like behavior. Cult-like behavior is where the founder can do no wrong. You shouldn't question the founder, and you are a fodder for saying anything. Now, that's a very dangerous position to be in, because if you can't question your organization or your team or management or your chain, then you're a cult, and there is no other way to describe it. You should always be able to question the decisions taken by anybody. That is the point. And if you're not, and you are outcast for it, or you are cancelled for it, then what kind of society have we created where people's opinions are discarded and put to one side? So you should question everything, including me, including every other influencer that's telling you that we're going to have a $10,000 XRP. Now then, more bullish news for Sui. Remember what I said to you, maybe a month and a half ago about Grayscale. I said Grayscale will create, they were launching their Grayscale Sui Trust. And I said to you at the time, they create a trust, they get assets under management for that trust, and then they convert that trust into an ETF, a spot ETF. We've seen it with Bitcoin. We've seen it with Ethereum. We're going to see it with Solana. We're going to see it with XRP. And we're going to see it with Sui. Canary Capital have applied for the Sui ETF. If it gets past this stage, Grayscale will also apply, and others will as well. But again, the question you have to ask yourself over time, is the impact of these ETFs going to lessen over time? And my answer, of course, will always be yes, it will. The Trump tariff war is having less and less impact on the markets. Conflicts are having less and less impact on the markets. The desensitization of you and the markets to these events is not a bad thing, because sometimes it's an overreaction. But when we get to the 700th ETF and we get to the Crow ETF in a year and a half's time, is it going to really make any difference to the price? I don't think it will. Right, Pakistan's Prime Minister has announced the creation of a special crypto council with the authority to implement digital currency regulations. The goal is to position Pakistan as a competitive player in the global digital economy while prioritizing security, transparency, and innovation. Now, again, tax dollars. Whenever a government makes this type of decision, it is to do with tax dollars. We saw it a few weeks ago. Was it Taiwan or wasn't Korea? Vietnam, was it? Again, these countries are losing out to other countries that have accepted crypto. And this is part of the game theory that you hear everybody talk about. And when you think about it, it's really childish. It's a hot summer's day and you go and buy an ice cream. and you're really thirsty and you're eating the ice cream, and everybody around you goes, that has a really nice looking ice cream. Maybe they don't need an ice cream because they've just had their tea, but they'll go and get an ice cream anyway. With crypto, when we see America take, let's call it first mover advantage, let's not count El Salvador, first big mover advantage. America's got 193,000 Bitcoin, China 190,000, the UK's got 60,000, and I pray to God they don't sell them. Other countries are going to take a look at this and say, we need crypto, we need Bitcoin. We're going to go and get Bitcoin. Then they see America bring all of this talent to America to create a crypto hub. Dubai is doing the same. And then you've got these other countries going, well, we're going to lose all of our crypto businesses if we let this carry on. So we don't want to lose the business, because with business comes revenue, and with revenue comes profit. So they become crypto friendly like that overnight. Okay. And it takes America or China or Russia or one of the big superpowers to take that first move, and they've done that. And that's why we're going to see more and more countries. Argentina is another one that is likely to start setting up a Bitcoin reserve. So it's a me too, it's jealousy, it's FOMO, it's game theory, whatever you want to call it. It's a bullish thing for crypto. Elon Musk revealed the US government has 14 magic money computers that make money out of thin air. Again, anybody that tells you that your Bitcoin on your cold storage wallet or in your exchange, anyone tells you that's magic internet money, ask them how pounds, shillings and pence are made. Ask them how the dollar is made. Ask them where they get the euro from. And they'll say, oh, it's from the bank. Ask them how the bank makes the money. And eventually they will come down to the conclusion that these banks create money out of thin air. Okay? I would like to say it's like pulling a rabbit out of a hat, but the rabbit existed before it came out of the hat. So why Bitcoin? Bitcoin has 21 million. It is mined. You cannot change anything about Bitcoin. It is uncensorable. It is outside of the will of any government. I've just told you before about Kronos have just decided to print 70 billion tokens. It's supposed to be a decentralized chain, yet it's printed 2.3 times the number of tokens into existence. What's the difference between Kronos doing that and the US government printing money out of thin air? Absolutely nothing. And they just sit there printing money all day long. And what does that do to the money in your pocket? It makes it worth less and less. Or you want to shorten that saying, worthless. Okay? Now then, let's move on. Let's see what we have. We are going to get onto some news in a minute. There's quite a lot of these. A lot happens. Mondays, nothing happens. Tuesdays, everything happens. The guy that set up Libra, that was on camera talking about how he is scamming all of these people, he's going to go to prison. And that's how, I mean, he looks like he's in a cult himself, doesn't he? He's going to end up in prison, and there's no way around it. And good for him. Good for him for scamming people, because now he's going to go to prison for 10 or 15 years. And that's what we want to see. We want to see bad actors thrown in prison and not let out. Now, again, be careful when you listen to any influencer. Crypto Rug Muncher, like ZachXBT and other people that I follow, they highlight scams, which I try and get over to you. Aiden Ross is about to launch his own token. Of course, it's going to launch on Solana. Buckle up, because you're going to be absolutely wrecked by this token, okay? And they deleted that post 20 minutes later. Why? Because Mario Nawfal will have been given so many million tokens to sell that token to you. And they'll come on here and they'll say, hey guys, guess what? We've got this token for you. It's a guaranteed 1000x. Go and stick $100 into it. Let's watch this go to the moon. You all follow him blindly. You buy the token, it goes to zero. He turns around and says, well, you should have done your own research on the token. You can't blame us. It's not our fault. Again, absolute trash in the community. Okay? And the sooner these people are gone, the better. But where there is money, you are always going to get scams. And there's nothing we can do about that. And much as you want to get rid of scams, scams do give you the opportunity to make money. Okay, there's a lot of people on Solana that like all of this circus because they can nip in and out of these tokens themselves and make a few quid. But at the end of the day, there's only so many times before the majority of people get rugged before this has less and less impact. Polymarket bettors say there's a 100% chance the Fed ends QT before May. Quantitative tightening is where they suck the money out of the economy. They're now saying that this tightening will probably end by May. We are in March, so we pretty much have 6 weeks left of QT. I've shown you the chart yesterday. If the money printer is not turned on, we are struggling or going to struggle to see Bitcoin break much higher. If we see the money printer get turned on, we're back in the good times. Those magic money printers are printing and printing away, and the price of Bitcoin goes up. It is simple in and out. Now, again, we're at 100%. And again, this isn't necessarily fact. These are people betting on the price or betting on QT ending. It's not a fact, okay? But pretty much everybody has the consensus it's now going to end by May. And I don't see how we're going to avoid that. Again, yes, it did predict Trump. Of course, it predicted Trump. I predicted Trump, and I'm not even American. The majority of you predicted Trump because you saw Kamala Harris speak. It wasn't a difficult one to predict. But QT has to come to an end. Inflation is under control, 2.8%. Eggs are coming down in price. Cost of oil is coming down. Energy is going to come down. That is Trump's. When people say to you, what's your favorite Trump policy? The majority of people out there, or Americans, certainly would say the border. Okay? Trump's most important policy is driving down the cost of energy, because energy is used in absolutely every service and manufacturing company out there. If you drive down the cost of energy, the transportation costs go through the floor. The manufacturing costs go through the floor. If you make goods cheaper to make, the price will come down. It's simple economics. So when people say, what's your favorite Trump policy? You're obviously a MAGA lover. You say energy costs going through the floor. Now, energy is 50% cheaper in America at this minute than it is in the UK, for example. It's going to get even cheaper. So if you're making a carton of milk in America and a carton of milk in the UK, the energy going into making the milk in America is probably going to be 70% less than the milk in the UK. So as far as exports are concerned, suddenly everything that America makes is going to be cheaper than it is in the UK or Europe. And then guess what? Exports go up. It's a lovely, lovely situation to be in if you can pull it off. So QT is going to come to an end. Going to turn the money printer on. I think we are going to see the QE stop and QT stop and QE gets turned on. Ben Cowan, he's like a soothsayer. He can kind of predict the future that you don't want. Market sells off, ETH goes home. We've seen that. Fed ends QT. That's going to happen in May. Market rallies. Macro gets worse later in the year. Recession. Again, next year, we're going to be in the bear market. That's why you need to sell your crypto in 2025. Okay? All of these people being bullish on roadmaps that take people into 2026 and 2027, we're going to be in the bear market. And unless something unbelievable happens, the price is going to come down. Now, we're going to talk about XRP. And again, please don't listen to this BS. XRP to $10,000 to $35,000. XRP parabolic rally is coming according to this prediction. My early retirement is sorted out. You will be working at McDonald's if you are basing your retirement on XRP going anywhere near $10, let alone $10,000. And there we have two men, or possibly the same man, talking to himself. Okay? It's not going to happen. And again, it was 589, then it's 10, now it's 35. Can we just break $5 before we start bringing up these numbers? Again, you have to be careful because it's not really for the old timers out there. It's for the newcomers. If you think that we're going to $10,000 and you buy 100 XRP, you think you're going to have $1 million and you're going to be rich. So you hold it and then it goes to $5, $6, $7, and we're doing amazingly well with XRP. And then I come on here and say, get out, sell, not financial advice, but sell your XRP, $7. What a price. 20x from the lows. Let's get out now. And you're like, hang on a minute, sunshine. You said $7. He said $10,000. I'm going to wait for $10,000. And this time next year, where we're all sitting on bags of cash that we sold, you're still sitting there with your $4 XRP telling me that it's a slight retracement before we go on to $10,000. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to me. Do your own research. Go look at the market cycle. We're not going to $10,000. I don't even think there's enough money in the world to get XRP to $10,000. Ripple files trademark for Ripple custody in digital asset expansion drive. Now, I think this is a downloadable program for your computer. That's what I think I read. This is a different article. So it's Ripple custody. The application was submitted on February the 5th. The filing aligns with the strategy to expand into the rapidly growing custody sector, which is going to hit 20 trillion. I don't think that's going to hit that case. It's made investments to bolster its custody offerings. It's acquired Metaco and Standard Trust. According to the filing, it will feature downloadable and cloud-based software. Oh my days. Cloud-based software. Now, if anyone's ever gone on the internet and seen various different pictures of people, you'll know that they came from their Apple Cloud account. If you look at what the UK government have just done in the last 2 weeks, they have banned encryption on the Apple iCloud as well. So if we think that this is going to be on a cloud-based server, the UK government are going to have something to say about it, surely, because it's not money, it's just cryptocurrency. So we need to be able to see what's in there. I don't like this. I don't like storing it on a computer, and I don't like storing it on a cloud either. I think the problem is that although, yes, it's a wallet, and yes, you've got your seed phrase, I know all of these things, but if you get hacked on your computer, that's going to get you pretty much finished off. We don't know what the cloud-based solution is, but I would stay well away from this for now, because we're going to get one bad story, or they're going to find a vulnerability, and I would stay away from this. Absolutely. So, however, in terms of what Ripple are trying to position themselves as, which is basically a great big global bank, then of course, this is a perfect solution. You have money transfers, you have DeFi, you have NFT projects, you have smart contracts, you have Cardano and Solana connecting up to it. Ripple is getting to the point where it's becoming an ecosystem. And it was never an ecosystem. It never really had a chain that did anything until last year when they introduced smart contract functionality. And of course, it takes time to build over there, but XRP isn't going to go anywhere. It's big. It's got money to throw at things. Look at Meta. Meta's thrown billions and billions at something that failed, and they're still around. Right then, I think what we've got here sounds like a scene from Cool Hand Luke, is a failure to communicate. No. Standard Chartered lowers Ethereum price target to $4,000, cites long-term structural decline. Now, I am not saying that we are wrong in our assertion that Ethereum is going to be, or going to have a good bull run. What I would say is, like I said yesterday, it sounded like I was having a go at Vitalik yesterday. I think Standard Chartered have fallen into the clickbait, which is $10,000. We were on target for a $10,000 Ethereum last year before the ETF. Then the ETF struck and the price got suppressed for a long period of time. And then that led into a series of faux pas by the Ethereum Foundation, faux pas by Vitalik, and that's just compounded and compounded and compounded. We're sitting at $1,900 when we should be sitting at anywhere between $2,500 and $3,000, but we're not. Now, I think we've gone from one end which is I don't think $10,000 was the target. I've said 6 to 8. I don't think $10,000 was realistic at this stage, but I also think that $4,000 is shorting. It's too short of a price target. We've gone from one extreme to the other. Now, is there a long-term structural decline in Ethereum? No, I think there is a long-term reallocation of project types between different chains. I've talked about NFTs moving, talked about some elements of DeFi moving, we've talked about meme coins, we've talked about gaming, for example. Gaming is moving to layer 2s and things like that, but Ethereum doesn't want them anyway. Ethereum doesn't want gaming because it's too expensive. Put it onto a layer 2 or send it off to Solana, we don't care. They're focused on DeFi and money, and I think that's a really good strategy, but if Vitalik's not the right person. So they have said $4,000 target, structural changes and rising layer 2 use. Again, that's not a bad thing either. The focus shifts towards protocol refinements and asset tokenization to adjust investor views, broader technical debates, open new questions. Now, the one thing I would say is real world assets are going to Ethereum. End of story. Real world assets are going to Ethereum. I guarantee you that there will be a DEX owned by BlackRock within the next 2 years. That will be on Ethereum. Yes, it will be on the layer 2s. Yes, it will probably be on Solana as well. But Ethereum doesn't go down. There are fees to be made on Ethereum. It's where all the liquidity is. The rumors of Ethereum's death are a little bit premature, in my opinion. But I do think readjusting the price target is not a bad idea. But I do think they're going to fall short with that target. I do think we are going to look higher than $4,000. And if we have time, by the way, I am going to have a look at some charts by the end of the show. Good morning, Kabir. I hope you are well. Kabir the Bear. Kabir is in chat. Or is it One Ear Kabir? I can never remember. Right then, this is the application for the SUI-based ETF that we covered in a short minute. They filed with the regulators to offer a fund that tracks SUI, a token that the Trump-linked World Liberty Finance project recently added to their reserves. Again, doesn't SUI mean water in Japan, I think. We covered SUI 2 years ago in a video, 18 months in a video. The tech is amazing. The team behind it are amazing. The one problem, and this is the big problem that I have with a lot of projects, is the adoption of the chain is the problem. And this is a great chain. It's one of those things. Is it better than Solana as a chain? Yes. But what doesn't it have? It doesn't have Solana's users, doesn't have Solana's apps, doesn't have the volume, doesn't have the NFTs, doesn't have anything. But it takes time to catch up. So when you hear Solana killer or ETH killer, it's a gradual takeover. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay, we saw Ton run from nowhere to ninth, and then it fell away because it's going to take time for Ton to get any further on. It's going to take SUI probably 2 or 3 years to build out and actually get all the apps on there that you would use. And the more cooler the apps, the more people will go to SUI. It's just the way it is. So they have filed. It is owned by World Liberty Finance. We've seen a significant migration of developers into the SUI ecosystem, and given the chain speed and efficiency, we believe it is primed for substantial future adoption. Why do developers move to a new chain? Why do you move jobs? Better pay? Yes. Better pay, better working conditions, better location, more freedom, all of those things, maybe. Certainly better pay. If you're a Solana developer being paid $100,000 a year and SUI comes along and pays you $150,000 a year, where are you going to go? Do you think these developers have moved to SUI for a pay cut? No. So when you see this headline, you think, oh, wow, maybe Cardano is dead. Maybe Solana is dead. All the developers are moving to SUI. No, they're going to the highest paid jobs. Believe you me, if another blockchain launched tomorrow called FitzChain, and I paid everybody $500,000 a year in my own token, which you could sell, and I gave you FITS coins, $500,000 a year in FITS coins, you'd be there before I'd finished the sentence, okay? It's all about paying these developers the most money, and it's bloated, and they're overpaid for what they produce. And they are obviously taking money out of the ecosystem because that money isn't going to stay in SUI. So SUI has big bags of cash. It's got massive investment. People who go after Solana because of the VCs, has anybody taken a look at who powered SUI, or the fact that they've got hundreds of millions of dollars behind them? Where do you think that money came from? Thin air. It's the same as taxing the wealthy 10% of their income. Where does that money come from that's going to pay that tax? You can't just go, oh, we're going to tax everybody 10% and we're going to make $80 billion a year out of it. Well, okay, so are we going to crash every stock market in the world at the same time? Because that's what's going to happen. Just because somebody's worth something on paper, it doesn't mean they're worth it in cash in the bank. It's totally different. With SUI, they are VC backed to the hilt. So they are not the knight in white, the white knight in shining armor that's coming over the hill to save the day. They are just like Solana, but they have built a really, really good project. And you can see the shillers. Cassie has changed the name to Cassie Sui. That's BitBoy Ben's ex. She's now Cassie Sui. She's promoting all things Sui. Why? Because they're paying her to. Why do you think she's there? For the good of her health? That's the problem. You know, at least I tell you who we're sponsored by. It's on the screen. You know, we don't hide it from you. But I don't spend every other day telling you to go and buy Mew or telling you to go and buy Maple or Wolfswap coins, whereas these guys do because they're going to be paid a lot of money. So, of course, it's going to build out. Of course, it's got a foot in the door with Trump because the people that Trump knows are invested in SUI. So, of course, SUI is going to be bought by World Liberty Finance because World Liberty Finance is Trump's unofficial spokesperson for which projects they prefer. SUI falls into that category. Do not back or bet against SUI. It already has the backing of the American government for the next 4 years. You cannot lose with SUI. And I can't believe I've just said that, but you can't. It's a runaway train. And I'm not saying it's going to go to $50. I'm saying that it's going, when the market recovers, it's going to be there. Now then, we're going to move on very quickly, and I want to have a little chat to you about DeFi for 1 minute, because this is important, okay? And it's important to me, not because of Maple, but because of what Converge is. Now, Athena Labs has built Converge, which is a layer 2. And I'm not a fan of Athena Labs. I've made a video about them. I'm not a fan. It's an algorithmic stablecoin, paying a ridiculous amount. It, at one point, is paying 18% APR. We all remember Luna. We all remember USDC, was it? No, US, what was it called? USTC, it was called. We all remember that. Not happy. However, Pendle, Athena, Maple, many others, I'm going to go through the article in a minute. These ones down here, they have all joined this new layer 2, which is aimed at TradFi. Now, before we get into the article, actually no, let's do the article first and then I'll tell you what I think. Because again, this is also important because again, the maxis have come out of the woodwork and the maxis are bleating. And again, when I say maxi, think cult. But I can't say that word because it sounds too similar to something else, but they are cults. And anything you say against them is FUD, or it's fear, or it's harmful, or it's hurty words. Okay, Athena and Securitize launch Converge, a new institutional grade EVM for tokenized assets. This is important to understand. It's institutional grade. It's aimed at TradFi, but it's a new, it's a layer 2, and it's connected to the Ethereum virtual machine. What does that mean? It means it can talk to Ethereum, and it can also talk to other layer 2s. So it's expected to launch in the second quarter, so April, May, June. It's Ethereum-compatible blockchain featuring native KYC and custody solutions. Okay. Athena Labs and Securitize plan to move their tokenized financial products onto the new blockchain. You've got the synthetic dollar, the USDE. I'm not a fan. USDTB, stablecoin backed by the Build Fund. That's different. I thought that was called something different. But anyway, they've planned to move their ecosystem to Converge. It's built using the EVM. We know about that. Our vision is to provide the first purpose-built settlement layer where TradFi will merge with DeFi, centered on, obviously, this is the liquidity, and secured by ENA. We see these two core cases for blockchains. The companies have tapped Copper, Fireblocks, all the usual suspects for the security. But you've got Aave, Ethereal, Maple Finance, Morpho, Pendle as launch partners. And again, some information down here. There is a whole world of fixed income products coming on chain, says Guy Young. Converge is expected to launch sometime in the second quarter. Now, I want to have a quick chat to you about this because it's important you understand I haven't looked into it since the token launched. That's what I was saying about it. Now, one of the things I want to talk about here is this is institutional grade. Okay, this is aimed at traditional finance. This is aimed at onboarding traditional finance. This is aimed at producing blue chip, top tier financial products. Okay, the issue is that you have got some of the degens out there saying, I can't believe we've got this centralized exchange. I can't believe you need KYC. I can't believe that everyone's going to follow blindly down here. This is just a blockchain version of TradFi, which is exactly what they're trying to build. It's a blockchain version of TradFi. That's what they're going to do. Okay? If you go to a biker bar for the first time and you're in a suit and you've got your little suitcase and you look at the door and it said Degen Bar, and you open the door and you've got a monkey and a frog and a cat sitting at the bar all waving at you with pints of green stuff, you're going to run a mile. And that's why nobody's on Solana. Everybody's on Ethereum who is sensible. You cannot have TradFi without KYC. Know your customer. AML, anti-money laundering. You need AML. You need KYC. This age of degens is over. The age of suits has arrived. Degens can have Solana and go and play, but TradFi needs a place. And where is that place? It's Ethereum. And where on Ethereum would you build that? You'd build it on a new layer 2 that had everything involved. Now, none of those projects involved are bad projects. We talk about Ondo. We talk about Maple. We talk about Aave. We talk about all of these projects, okay? They're good projects. Now, institutional money coming to crypto doesn't mean the likes of you and I are going to be able to go and buy a lot of this on day one, but it means institutions can. Institutions can dip their toes in and out. And we've talked about this before. Why have some companies not got their treasuries on the blockchain? Because now they can. So if you've got $100 million sitting there in your bank in America, you're getting 0.5%, maybe 1%, okay? You move that into the blockchain. Let's say you move half of it into the blockchain, and then you put that treasury to work, and you simply buy some of the Ondo products that pay you 4.5%, 5%. Well, suddenly you're making $2.5 million a year in interest, okay? So it's also, another way to look at it is, we want to remove friction. Now, the friction is, if you've got a treasury in a bank and you ask them to move your money, that might take them 4 or 5 days. And then it might take them 4 or 5 days to move it back if you put it in the wrong place. So you might lose a week. If your money is on a blockchain and it's on an institutional grade blockchain that allows you to deposit 50 million USDE into one of the Ondo products and keep it there for 6 months, or keep it there for a day or an hour, it will allow you to do that. The friction in time and the friction in money has gone. And that is what we want. And I understand what people are saying about the fact that it's not the true nature of crypto, and crypto is decentralized. But who is to tell private enterprises how to use their blockchain or how to create a new blockchain? It's their blockchain. The beauty of crypto is you don't have to use this. You don't have to buy Ondo tokens. You don't have to buy Maple tokens. You don't have to buy Aave tokens. Just because they've done it doesn't mean you should want to get rid of it. You just don't buy it. You know, if you don't like Teslas, don't buy one. If you like Teslas, buy one. That's the point. You can't say everything in crypto needs to be totally decentralized. It needs to be totally based on DAOs. It needs to be totally without that nasty man in a suit coming in and having his own corner of our building. It doesn't work that way. If you honestly think that Bitcoin and crypto is going to keep on its merry way with all the money that's in it without institutions coming in, you are sadly mistaken, because that's what a lot of people thought at the start of the internet. Before the Barclays banks and the Standard Charters and HSBCs had online banking, everyone was like, we don't need the internet for this. Internet's for us to go and look at cat memes. DeFi dominance returns to levels not seen since the 2021 bull market. DeFi is slowing down both in terms of token valuations and total value locked. Lending DEX and other DeFi protocols have different results, but most tokens reflect the bearish market attitudes. DeFi protocols are more diverse, but they did not recover the peak levels of the 2021 bull market. Okay, so again, Uniswap, Aave, they've not had their rallies, but nothing's had their rallies. If you go back to January the 4th, was it? December, there's something or other, when we topped out and we've come down ever since. What you would have to do, which I haven't done, is you would have to go and have a look at what sectors have suffered the most since that correction to the downside. Has it been the DeFi tokens? Has it been AI tokens or real world asset tokens? Or has it been layer 2 tokens, whatever? You'd have to go and have a look at that. And I've not done that. The low performance of DeFi tokens tracks the overall weakness of all altcoins as Bitcoin has taken up most of the liquidity. DeFi tokens are also not as widely used for their utility or security as the sector relies on stablecoins, Bitcoin and Ethereum collaterals. The total value locked in DeFi also decreased to 90 billion, levels not seen since 2021. Traders are noticing the downward shift in TVL, showing a general bearish trend. Lending has also taken a sharp downturn in value, locked down to 39 from a peak of 51. Again, don't take everything out of context. Think about it in the context of what's just happened. Trump's come in. We had the pre-inauguration pump. Trump's come in. He's rattled the markets. He's talked about tariffs. He's talked about Doge cutting waste. He's talked about the Bitcoin reserve, but then not committing to the Bitcoin reserve. We've got quantitative tightening. We've got interest rates not coming down. It's not the time for us to go full DeFi or full alt season yet. Now, obviously, there is a chance that we never see another alt season again. Now, of course, there's a chance that happens. There is a chance that we see a subdued alt season or a shortened alt season. We know normally, based on cycles, that Bitcoin goes up, dominance falls, alt season begins as the money comes in, and then the alts run. And we have a period of about 8 weeks where we can sell the top, and the top being the top 30% of the price action. We know that. It hasn't come yet. And we're in a little bit of a correction. We are down, what are we down? 20%. The correction of 30% takes us down to what? $74,000. So again, we've not reached those lows, and I have said that we could go as low as 74,000, which would be a 30% correction. And we've said for months that you have these 30% deep corrections in Bitcoin and therefore in crypto. But it doesn't mean it goes to exactly 30%. It might go to 33% or 28%. It's a ballpark figure. If Bitcoin does that, nothing is going to recover. Okay. Lending and yield farming remain risky, though it's been used to tap value. Again, I staked my soul on Camino Finance, and I've been earning 20, 18%, 16%, 25%. It is leveraged. It's got a 2 or 3x leverage on it, but it's earning me soul every month. That's what I do. That's really the only thing I've got. Suppose I've got Duke staked as well. I don't really play with DeFi that much. Certainly not on Ethereum anyway. Several tokens stand out for their utility and expectations. RWA, which is the subset. You've got Ondo, you've got Mantra, you've got Athena, you've got Maple, you've got Pendle, you've got Goldfinch, you've got that area. But why is that area doing so well? Well, one of the things I've said for a very long time is there will come a point where some markets detach from the crypto mainstream. And what I mean by that is you are going to see maybe AI, maybe real world asset tokens detach from the 4-year cycle, because technically what we're doing is we're grouping everything together. We're grouping Bitcoin with Ethereum, with Chainlink, with meme coins, with everything. We're grouping it all together and we're saying, right, 4 years, everything goes up, then everything comes down. But there'll come a point when the market matures where real world assets are no longer attached to the price of Bitcoin or the price of others. Because when it comes down to it, these are just completely separate blockchains that have interoperability. Yes, but they're built for a purpose. If we have think of an example. Let's say we have a BlackRock DEX that comes out, and that BlackRock DEX has got a token, and that token is a utility token of that exchange. But that exchange solely deals in stocks and shares, doesn't deal with crypto, but it's on the blockchain. Should that value of that utility token have any correlation to Bitcoin being at 10, 100, or $1 million? It shouldn't do, no, because it's a token to do with the trading volume of existing stocks and shares outside of crypto, but it's on the blockchain. We're not there yet. We're far away from it, but at some point we're going to see fragmentation. At the minute, it's like saying the price of oil has gone up, so all the value of Shell and BP will go up, but also all the value of Starbucks will go up, because we're looking at the biggest asset, the biggest stocks, and saying, oh, that value's got up, so everything else will go up. It doesn't work like that. We have sectors, and we're going to get to the point in crypto where we have those sectors, and those sectors are going to be independent of Bitcoin, but they haven't really detached yet. And that, I think, is a little bit of a way off, but it's still there. Okay, so I don't think DeFi is dead, in answer to the question. I think it's just suffering the same way as everything else is suffering. And remember, if you have $100 billion of TVL today, and the price of Solana, for example, drops 30%, then you have $70 billion of TVL if it's all held in Solana. If you have $100 billion of USDC today, and all the markets drop 50%, you're still going to have $100 billion of TVL at that time, because the stable coin doesn't go up or down, it stays at $1. So you've got to bear that in mind. And then it works conversely. So when Solana pumps 20%, suddenly the DeFi TVL will pump 20-25%. So again, what you should really be looking at, I think, is what level of tokens are staked. So if there are 500,000 Solana staked today, and there are 400,000 Solana staked in 6 months' time, then that would mean to me that there's a 20% reduction in the assets under TVL, and that takes the price out. But people don't do that because people go for nice, shiny, big $sign numbers. Nothing you can do about that. Anyway, we are nearly at the end of the show, but we want to talk about the article a little bit that I didn't get to yesterday. And again, I do not like Peter Schiff. Okay, I don't like him. He is he's got, is it called Schiff Gold or something like that? He's got his own gold trust, and he just gets all the attention by bashing Bitcoin, because by bashing Bitcoin, he gets people to look at his gold fund. It's really simple. Now then, for many years, you have been able to get, I think it's called AUT, which I think is the symbol of gold. And Pax Gold, Pax is a it's like a synthetic version of gold. So for every $1 of PAX G that you hold, that equates to $1 in gold. If the price of gold goes up 10%, your $1 is worth $1.10. So it's, instead of being a stable coin where it stays at $1 because $1 is $1, it stays as $1 of gold. And $1 of gold goes up as well as it comes down. Now, we're not going to read through all of this. Absolutely not going to read through all this. But the point I want to raise here is that when you make your gains, and I don't see many people talking about this, when you make your gains, where are you going to put them? And in the last few weeks, we've looked at Ondo. I've shown you Maple Finance. I've also made a video about Maple Finance. I've made videos about other real world asset tokens in the past as well. I think we covered a real estate one, covered a few other ones. Your other option, and one of the options, is of course a synthetic version of gold, and PAX G is that. As I said, it's been around for at least surely 3 or 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years now. And what it does is, I don't need to go through all of that. It's just, you buy $1,000, gold goes up, you have more money, but it's liquid. And one of the downsides to gold is you need to spend a lot of money looking after it. Now, I'm not suggesting that Tariq goes out and buys $100,000 of real gold and puts it in his safe in his house, because we'd go around to his house, pick his safe up and run off, and then drill holes in the safe and get the gold out. So there is a theft chance, a higher theft chance with physical gold. Digital gold, on the other hand, you can hold on Binance, or you can hold on your MetaMask wallet, whatever it might be, or you can put it on your Trezor or your Ledger. So a synthetic version of gold just reflects the price of gold. Now, the interesting thing, and again, nobody really cares, but I'll tell you anyway, there is a link on the PAX G website where if you buy gold directly through them, they will actually send you a picture of the physical gold, I believe, or they did last time I checked this, which was a couple of years ago. They will send you a picture of your gold. Now, do I believe it's your gold, or do I believe it's the same picture that they send to everybody else? Good question. They actually send you the serial number as well, so you can see the physical serial number of the gold that you hold with them. And if you want to, you can physically go and get your gold off them. But again, it's one of those things where you're never going to do that. You don't care about it, but these people are serious about it. Now, again, it's one of those things. Let's get rid of this now, because I think we are done, aren't we? 11:57, perfect. Tariq, he carries his gold everywhere. The point is, it's all well and good sitting here talking to you about gains. You have to plan the same way you would plan your retirement. Let's say you think your portfolio is going to get to $50,000. Now, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, it could very well get to between $35,000 and $60,000. It may go up 50% from where you are today, only 50%. The question is, you sell it all, and then you're sitting on $50,000. Exactly. I totally agree. Who's this? Ravmaster. Absolutely agree. I've got physical gold. I was buying physical gold in 2005, 2006. And I was buying gold every month. And then, of course, 2008, everything crashed apart from gold and it went through the roof. And at the time I went, I'm not paying that for it. And I was paying, I believe, it was about $11 a gram, I think. But I physically got the gold sent to me. So I physically have a bag of gold, like Schmiegel under the mountain. I also have a physical bag of silver. If PAX G had existed in 2006, 2005, and the reason I remember that is my son was born in 2005, and I started buying gold after he was born. And if PAX G had existed 20 years ago, I would have been buying PAX G every month. Because whatever you say about crypto, however much you like crypto, you have to remember it's one asset class. You shouldn't have all of your money in buildings or property. You shouldn't have all your money in stocks and shares. You shouldn't have all of your money in a bank, and you shouldn't have all of your money in crypto. If you've got $50,000, you need to decide right now what your plan is for, let's say, January the 1st, 2026. We've got a recession coming. I know Rich Dad, Poor Dad has been saying the same thing. Everyone's been saying the same things. We've got a recession coming. What are you going to do with your money? Are you going to put it in your bank and earn 1%? That's a possibility. Maybe you want the money in your bank. Maybe you want to find places on the blockchain that are safe and secure to put your money. And one of the options, personally, I think, is to put some of it into gold, some of it into stable coins, earning, let's say, 5 or 6%. And then maybe look at some of the gilts that we've talked about. You know, some of the tokens that we've covered before, you know, the Ondo, which is backed by BlackRock. You maybe look at stuff like that. So you need to think about where you're going to go with your money after the bull run. Now, I know you're going to have plenty of time after the bull run. Let's say you sell out, and on January the 1st, you've sold out and you got your $50,000. There is no mad rush for you to make the next decision. Don't be rushed into anything. Even when the bull run hits, you've probably got 8 weeks. You know, if Bitcoin gets to 125, 135, that's when maybe you should start dollar cost averaging out. One thing I haven't liked to see is Michael Saylor has started to bull post on Bitcoin, talking about a $440,000 Bitcoin. Now, believe you me, if we hit $440,000 this bull run, I am not going to be annoyed that my target of $150,000 was wrong. But I don't see the $440,000 because that is a 6x, is it not? A 5x, 5.5x from where we are now, 6x from where we are now. I don't know how we get there. He obviously does. He's a cleverer man than I. But the point of it is, let's say you have one Bitcoin and let's say you end up with $440,000. What do you do with it? Certainly, I would look to pay off my mortgage. That's not advice anybody will give you because apparently your mortgage is the cheapest money you'll ever get. But let's say you lose your job tomorrow and you've still got your mortgage. You know what I mean? Pay your mortgage off. Secure your future. Pay for your kids' education if you've got kids. Pay for your kids' education. Pay your loans off if you've got a car loan or whatever it might be, or your education loans. Pay them off. That's sensible financial planning, not degenning into moon token, Elon Musk, Mars token. The time of that is gone. So gold, structured products, bit of cash, pay your mortgage off, pay your loans off. And then if you've got cash left over, you need to think about a blockchain-based non-crypto return for probably the entirety of the recession, which probably takes us through to 2027. So for 2 years, you need to sit on your hands and you need to hold on for dear life. And maybe if Bitcoin does come back down to 60 or 70,000, you start buying back in. Okay. The aim of this bull run is to make either life-changing wealth or set yourself up for when you can make life-changing wealth in the next bull run. And that happens by selling at the right time, which I believe, and again, don't listen to me, don't listen to anybody, I believe that is November this year. If it's October, if it's August, and I'm wrong, I don't care. It's still going to be this year. And I think next year we hit the recession, money comes out of risk on assets, and we're going to have a dump. And it might not be a mental $40,000 Bitcoin, but we will come down. Anyway, I have talked enough. It is now after 12 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the show. Thank you to the new people in chat. Thank you. Well, good morning, Jan. I've just seen you. Tariq carries his gold everywhere. So what we'll have to do is put Tariq under our arms and run off with Tariq. It would be far safer for your well-being, Tariq, if you put it in the safe, because we could just kidnap the safe, not kidnap you. Anyway, I'll see you all in the morning. Wednesday tomorrow, Fed Day, big day, probably a big nothing burger of a day. But anyway, take care. See you later, KB. See you later, Mags. See you later, everybody else. Ciao.